Welcome to Scout. Wait a minute, you already did Scout. I know, but some people were a bit annoyed that I didn't mention their favorite overclocks for the Deepcore and Boomstick. So out of spite, I'm dedicating 4 videos to covering the 148 overclocks approved and rejected by R&D safety testing. So let's electrify our ammo and pack the special powder because we have some blank cores to grind. First off is the epic, the mystical, the legendary Deepcore GK2.
I need more ammo.
This standard issue bullet dispenser specializes in vomiting ammunition as hard and fast as possible. Both compact ammo and gas rerouting focus on shooting lots, but in different ways. With compact ammo decreasing your recoil while increasing your mag size, and gas rerouting juicing up your fire rate complemented by hastened reloads. But if you want a little more risk in your clean overclocks, you can homebrew some powder. This bastardization of gunpowder is a real hit or miss, with your damage being randomized for every shot. The good news is that your damage has a better chance of being above average rather than below, so taking this overclock is not that much of a gamble. Now if you want some consequences for your actions, let me show you the balanced overclocks. Overclocked firing mechanism gives you the opportunity to distribute your bullets with maximum speed. The problem is your flimsy wrists can't handle the newfound might of your rifle, so you're gonna have to fight your recoil more than your enemies. But if you'd rather do more damage with the ammo you have, Bullets of Mercy will shatter the life expectancy of any targets inflicted with a status effect, at the cost of having a tiny magazine. So find the driller least likely to smithereen your atoms and end the suffering of your enemies. Now we have the category that can alter the game itself and more often than not invents new mechanics for your weapons. The unstable overclocks. AI stability engine does less damage and shoots slower, but the recoil is reduced to 0, bullet spread is almost reset instantly, and you deal bonus damage to weak points. That means you can simply point and click on enemy heads and the only thing you can blame for missing is yourself. And lastly, we have electrifying reloads. Your reloads are electrifying. When you reload, all your bullets fired will burst into electricity. This inflicts your foes with the shocking DOT. The sad part is your magazines are much smaller and you carry less ammo in general. But let's get away from the automatic assault and bring out the M1 Garand. First is the most renowned M1 overclock, the Hoverclock. Performing a focus shot while in the air will reduce your speed, allowing for sick air shots and giving you another tool to prevent sending your legs through your torso. Minimal clips is very misleading. Instead of reducing your clip capacity, it's actually increased. Sprinkle in some faster reloads and you'll be ejecting bullets as fast as your clips. Active stability system allows you to perform focus shots quicker while not hampering your movement. Unfortunately, this adds a bonus half second to your reload time, so make sure you use that bonus mobility to keep your problems at a minimally threatening distance. Hipster lets you equip suspenders to accentuate your magnificent facial hair. Wait, that's the wrong thing. Hipster converts your pseudo-sniper into a semi-auto assault rifle. Damage may be reduced, but it's made up for with significant fire rate, half the recoil, and nearly double the ammo. So cast aside your pledge to precision and hip-fire these monsters. But if you want your focus shot to be the focus of your weapon, the unstable overclocks have you covered. Electrocuting focus shot is exactly what it sounds like. When you charge up your weapon, the bullet is infused with electricity. Unfortunately, being struck by a miniature lightning bolt isn't quite as painful as being impaled by a lead spike going 2,300 miles per hour. Both the positive and negatives of this overclock only apply to your sniping, so don't worry about your hip-fire gaming. Now instead of reducing your damage, Supercooling Chamber increases it, focus damage specifically, at the cost of your ammo, and your charge speed, and your legs. The Plasma Carbine weaponizes the fourth state of matter and generates heat faster than a conversation about politics, so you need to figure out how many protons and insults you're going to be dishing out. Aggressive venting turns the byproduct of your carnage into another means of destruction. By trapping the heat until your weapon starts to malfunction, you can fry the air, causing the nearby bugs to combust and slowly run away from you. And to aid your weapon in overheating more often, the venting process helps it recover faster from nearly exploding. But if you want to keep things cool, thermal liquid coolant causes your weapon to generate less heat and cool down faster between barrages. Impact deflection turns your balls of plasma into bouncy balls of plasma. Your fire rate is tragically decreased, but it's well worth it to see lasers ricochet off of surfaces and regular faces. Rewiring mod takes a unique approach to your persistent heat problems. Instead of venting the heat properly or using improved coolant, you convert some of your excess heat back into ammunition. Somehow. Your overheat duration is increased to salvage as much energy as possible. Unfortunately, your battery capacity is decreased, so you're still gonna have ammo problems. What also has a smaller battery is overtuned particle accelerator. But instead of being balanced by regenerating ammunition, it is your punishment for having increased damage. And if you know you're damaged based on stable overclocks, you are well aware that the consequences are still coming. You gain 50% more heat per shot, and your spread is dramatically increased. But 8 more damage though. Now you're going to want efficient shield regeneration for this next overclock, because Shield Battery Booster increases your damage and projectile speed whenever your shield is full. You also gain increased fire rate and battery capacity. Wow, that sounds pretty cool. How bad could the downsides possibly be? Terrible cooling rate, awful heat per shot, double the overheat duration, and your shield is obliterated every time you overheat. To keep with the theme of unstable overclocks being terrible for heat management, thermal exhaust feedback gives you increased fire damage past 50% heat at the cost of bonus heat per shot and overheat duration. Man, why can't any of the unstable overclocks be good at venting? Anyway, let's finally get into the secondaries, starting off with the jury-rigged Boomstick. Its compact shells allow for more ammo capacity and faster reload. Alternatively, if you want to increase your DPS the way a true shotgun wielder would, Double Barrel will allow you to exclusively fire both barrels at once. You also do 1 more damage. Now we have the most exciting overclock that will invalidate the rest of your scout experience. I know it's a bit early to talk about a weird and wacky game changer, but Special Powder is considered a clean overclock since it has no downsides. Stuffing your shells with nitroglycerin instead of gunpowder gives you some mad mid-air hops. You can use this momentum boost for a variety of things, such as double jump, triple jump, negate fall damage, bestow fall damage, remove yourself from situations, remove yourself into situations, and just rearrange someone's face like normal. You will eventually shatter your ankles, and if you ever switch off this overclock, you will spend every waking moment thinking, if only I had Special Powder, then I'd be able to get over there. I know I have a grappling hook, and my legs have finally healed. But what's the point of moving if it isn't using the kick of a shotgun using shells the size of energy drinks? Stuffed Shells has an extra gram of gunpowder and an additional pellet in them for a tiny damage boost. But you know what else will increase your damage? Tightening the spread. With shaped shells, the base spread of your shotgun is reduced by 50% to get more of your pellets to where you want them. You did neglect to grab a few shells before leaving for Hoxies, but it's whatever. And for the final Boomstick overclock, we have Jumbo Shells. You replace the tiny BBs of your shells with ball bearings. This significantly increases your damage, but the overwhelming weight of your ammo means that you can't carry too much of it and reloading takes forever. Swapping the Boomstick's high damage with its low ammo count, we have the Zhukov. Minimal magazines makes these dual Uzis fire a bit faster and halves their reload. This will help you run out of ammo even faster than you already do. Yay! Custom casings increases your magazine size at the cost of a tiny fire rate reduction. At this point, why even tamper with the fire rate? These are such insignificant amounts. Anyway, now we're getting into the spicy overclocks. Cryo Mindlets suffer from damage and mag size, but when your bullets strike a surface, they turn into time-delayed ice grenades. This flash freezes any hostiles nearby, making them highly susceptible to whatever nefarious things you have planned for them. But maybe you don't want to switch off your pistols to kill your enemies. Maybe you want your bullets to explode with thermite instead of liquid nitrogen. With embedded detonators, any bullets you drive into fleshy bits will explode upon reloading. This increases your overall damage. Unfortunately, it merits your base damage being lowered, and your clip size being lowered, and your ammo capacity being lowered. Gas recycling increases your damage and armor breaking. You can't get crits, have a massive spread, and are slowed while firing. But that hardly matters when your targets are too large to miss and everything else is liquefied before it becomes a problem. And finally, we have the Nishanka. Crossbow! Quick fire doubles your projectile's velocity and decreases your reload time. Nothing too special there. Get it? Because the next overclock is Specialist, and it exclusively affects your special ammo? Ha ha ha! The Specialist increases your special ammo capacity as well as the duration of whatever funky effects those bolts are producing. But if you want your normal bolts to be funky as well, both the balanced overclocks will satisfy this desire. Cryo Bolt and Fire Bolt will reduce your base damage and prevent your bolts from being recovered, but they will bestow your enemies with frostbite and third-degree burns respectively. Additionally, shooting the ground with these bolts will trigger the effect on anything walking over it. Bodkin points have less damage and your reload is increased as well, but the bolts you fire bounce into nearby enemies, giving your single-shot sniper an abstract form of AoE. And lastly, we have the Trifork Volley. Like the previous overclock, you deal less damage and have a slow reload, but instead of shooting one bolt at a time, you cram 3 of those suckers in there and fire them simultaneously. Your bolts don't get destroyed from doing this, but you can't retrieve them for some reason. At least you have an increased ammo capacity to make up for that. And there you have it, every scout overclock as of Plaguefall. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have 111 more overclocks to cover.